Salutations everyone, and welcome to my top 15 most anticipated movies of 2015. Starting things off on number 15 is Jupiter Ascending. I know it was on my most anticipated list last year, but it got pushed to 2015. Usually not a good sign, especially when it comes to January and February push releases. But it's still the Wachowski siblings. They make really good films. Like I said last year, Matrix, Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, and they have some good actors in this one, so just on that alone, it still makes the list. Number 14 and 13 are this year's Pixar releases in Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur was supposed to come out last year. They rewrote it, almost started from scratch. Now it's coming out this year. Inside Out was still on track, so now this year we have two Pixar films after only the second time in the last decade we did not have a Pixar film. Disney has been kicking Pixar's ass a number of years now, so let's see if Pixar can get back on track with the success in two brand new IPs. They're not doing a sequel or a prequel. Two brand new things with some of the amazing minds that made us some of the best Pixar films around. Not much is known about either of these films. We only have the teaser for Inside Out and nothing on The Good Dinosaur yet. But it's still Pixar, so let's hope they can get back on track or at least make a pretty decent animated film, which they haven't made in a while. So they make number 14 and 13 on my list just because it's Pixar. And coming at number 12 is Ant-Man. Marvel has yet to make a bad film. They've made some pretty surprisingly good films and some really good films that we wanted to be really good. They haven't let us down so far. So, is Ant-Man going to be the first? Maybe. A lot of people thought Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be, but it wasn't. It was funny, and it did very, very well. Ant-Man supposed to be much more of the same, comedic-wise, but it's an unproven celebrity. We got Paul Rudd, a comedic actor in a comic movie that's supposed to be funny, and it's a solo film of a hero, not like a team movie like Guardians, and it's the second Ant-Man, not the first Ant-Man, but the first Ant-Man's in there, and Michael Douglas, so a lot of moving parts, a lot of things up in the air with Edgar Wright dropping out and all this other stuff. So, will it be Marvel's Cars 2, their first major flop, their first bad film, their first disaster? Or will it be like, the first Cars where no one really expected much and they were like, hey, you know what, that was pretty good. We'll see. Number 11, Tomorrowland. A Disney movie not based off of a ride in Disneyland, but a section of the park. Not very much is known about the film. We only have one preview to go off of, but it's Disney. They've made some successful films live action in the past. Just looks like Pirates of the Caribbean. That was based off a ride. That was successful. And then you had the Haunted Mansion, which, yes, that was a thing. And that was bad. So 50-50 on that range. But it's got George Clooney, great actor, a brand new, female lead. And not much else is known about that. But just based off of that alone, pretty excited for the film. It could be really good. Coming in at number 10 is The Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino. Enough said. The script was leaked last year, and he's like, nah, we're going to cancel it. We're not going to do it anymore. And people are like, hey, come on, let's still do it. And he was like, okay, let's still do it. It's still Quentin Tarantino, and it's still people who star in Quentin Tarantino movies, so that's really all we need to know. Hateful Eight, super pumped. Coming in at number 9 is Mr. Holmes. What? Another Sherlock Holmes movie? We've seen so many on TV and film. Yes, there have been over 70 different actors to play Sherlock Holmes on screen. But have we ever had a 90-year-old play him? Let alone Sir Ian motherfucking McKellen? I mean, come on. How can you not be jazzed about this? Sir Ian McKellen in a starring role and he's playing Sherlock Holmes? That's pretty awesome. Coming in at number 8 is Black Mass, starring Johnny Depp, Benedict Cumberbatch, Joel Edgerton. How is that not something you're excited for? It's a mob movie based in the 80s, the Irish mob working with the FBI, based off of a book. We've seen some bad mob movies in the past, even those with really great casts, but this one I think might not disappoint. When has Benedict Cumberbatch ever in a bad film? Never. And it's got Johnny Depp, and it's got Peter Skarsgård and Joel Edgerton, just a lot of great actors, and I got my hopes up for this one because I want it to be good, so that's why it's on the list. Coming in at number 7 is Paper Towns, based off of the book, made by John Green, who is an executive producer on the film. His last movie from a book was The Fault in Our Stars, my number 1 most anticipated film of last year, and very, very, very good. So, super excited for this one. How can I not be? Paper Towns, John Green. It's a movie. It's gonna be awesome. Number 6, American Sniper. I made this list in order before I actually saw the film, which I have now. It's a good movie. Go see it. But at number 6 on this list, Bradley Cooper, directed by Clint Eastwood. I don't really need to know anymore, based off of, a war that happened this century, which is rather rare these days. And it was a good film, and I was excited for it, and those excitements were met. Coming in at number 5 is Spectre, the next James Bond film. Super pumped. Who cannot be after the amazing last James Bond film that we had? We still have Daniel Craig as 007. All we know is what this poster tells us. But that's enough. That's enough to make number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4 is an untitled movie, but not the title that I'm excited about. Directed by Steven Spielberg, written by the Coen brothers, and starring Tom Hanks. I don't need to know any more. That's all I know. It's supposed to take place in the Cold War, with Tom Hanks playing as a lawyer or something. I mean, it's Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, Coen brothers. That's it. That's all I need to know. I'm going to see it. Super psyched just on those circumstances. And it doesn't even have a title. So, yeah. Coming in at number 3 on my list is Peanuts, the movie. So psyched. Many of you know I am a humongous Peanuts fan. Humongous. If you're watching this, I'm a bigger fan than you are. And the fact that I'm psyched about this movie should say a little bit in the faith that I have for it. Some people are like, oh, I thought Peanuts was supposed to end after Charles Schultz died. But no, that was just the comic strip. And all other things are kept in the family. And this is produced and helped with many of his family members and has their blessing, obviously. The animation looks really great. It's like a hybrid between like 2D with like 3D textures. And it's Peanuts, and I love it, and I can't wait because I love Peanuts so much, and I'm super psyched. Blue Sky Studios, a little unproven, but I mean, it just looks so good, and it's Peanuts, and I want it. I want it to be good. I mean, come on, it's motherfucking stupid! Coming in at number 2, should be pretty obvious, Avengers Age of Ultron. First Avengers, very, very impressive in what they were able to pull off, and I have a lot of faith that they'll be able to do it again. A lot of questions that need to be answered, a lot of awesome action sequences that we know are going to happen. All the same actors are there. We got Ultron, not the, most intimidating villain in the world, but still. The first one was so good. All the Marvel movies have been passable to spectacular. And, yeah. Number 2, super pumped. And of course, my number 1 most anticipated film of the year 2015. How can it not be? It's everyone's most anticipated film of 2015. Is Star Wars Episode 7, The Mother Effin' Force Awakens. I mean, come on. Star Wars. Oh, the prequels, blah, blah, blah. You people will never be pleased, so shut the fuck up. I'm talking about people who actually like the films, who actually like Star Wars, and don't nitpick at every stupid little thing. I am pumped for this. Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, all the new people, lightsaber that is awesome with the crossguard. It makes sense. Watch Colbert's video. It's the future. All these questions. Star Wars. I mean, yeah, Star Wars, obviously. December 18th, almost a year away, 11 months to be exact. But yeah, it's gonna be 11 months well worth the wait for another Star Wars movie. So yeah, those are my top 15 most anticipated films of 2015. Of course, this is not what my top 15 movies of the year are going to end up looking like. If you watched my last year's video, only half of my top 10 most anticipated actually made it in my top 10 best films of the year. That video will be coming out in the next week. So let me know in the comments section below. What are you most psyched for, or second or third? Everyone's obviously psyched for Star Wars and Avengers, but what are you most psyched for 2015, and what was your favorite film of 2014? Maybe I can watch it and finish off my list, which is at 53 movies right now, so that video will be coming out in the next week. So, yeah, this is not obviously what the top 15 best movies of the year are going to be. Half of the best movies of this year I haven't even heard of yet, and nobody has, because that's just the way it works. You know, you got your indie movies and your movies that come out of nowhere, and that's just how it works. Movies are awesome, and I love them, and these are my top 15 most anticipated for 2015.